you start in with the printing, and what was like your first idea to say, man, I want to print. I want to start printing.
Well, my first idea to say I wanted to start printing was just simply I wanted to be different than everybody else, every other Joe Schmo on the sideline. But how I said I was gonna do this as a business, like for instance, I kind of knew about sublimation, which what it is I do, since maybe 2006. I had a neighbor when I was staying in Atlanta that had introduced me to that, but I was still rolling, doing what I was doing, and I kind of looked over what he had told me about. I even gave him some money. You know what I'm saying? I gave him some money because he had a hell of an idea. Now that I'm into it, I know that wasn't nothing but pennies, but I told him something. You know what I'm saying? Because I felt what he was saying. But anyways, that same individual, fast forward to maybe about 2013, 2014, somewhere up in there, I'm just looking to refine myself, want to start hustling, but my son hit me up and was like, he wanted to play football. You know what I'm saying? So naturally, I'm a football head. I ran me to go sign him up, but how it came about was I didn't want to look different on the sideline, so I wanted to get a shirt outside of the regular glitter shirts or the vinyl shirts or the screen printed shirts, what everybody was doing. I wanted to get something different, so I'm just thinking what have you. I'm like, damn, let me call my boy. So I hit my dude up. He no longer stayed in Atlanta. He stayed in Baltimore. Yeah. And I'm like, bro, you still making those shirts? What have you? Woo woo woo. He like, yeah. So I shot up there. We chopped it up about the shirts or what have you. And he gave me a little insight on how to make the shirts or what have you. And then I said, well, I want to make one for my son. Then I made a shirt. And man, it's crazy. I came back to the field and I had on the shirt. And I was at the shirt and dude, Mr. T, he was like, from New York. He was like, St. Pete, man, where you get that shirt from? I'm like, I made it. He like, man, you ain't made this shirt? I'm like, yeah, I made this shirt. He said, well, let me get 5 of them. And I'm like, man, I'm like, Mr. T, man, these shirts kind of, no, before he said, let me get 5 of them, he said, I want one, T. I say, man, these shirts kind of expensive now. Can you
bring the mic a little bit closer?
My bad. I say these shirts kind of expensive now. So he say, well, shit, how much? I say 5. I say, give me $100 a piece. He said, well, I want 5 of them. And from there, it was on.
Yeah.
A light bulb clicked in my head. Was like, cause nobody had these.
So you didn't make it to sell it. You just made it.
No, my initial shirt was just the wear. I just wanted to be, cause see, you know, everybody had. I'm like, me and my brothers are trendsetters. Like everything we do, we set trends. We set a bar. Like everything, regardless what's going on, we did it first. I can give you a story of anything what's happening right now, and you be like such and such and such and such. I'm like, oh yeah, we did that, and they copied us. And I can give you a time when we interacted,
right,
to when they saw us doing this.
Yeah.
And you know what I mean? I'm talking about from all type of people. But anyways, that'd be another story for another episode.
Yeah.
But so I just wanted to be different. And I made the initial shirt. And when I made that shirt and wore it to the field, man, that shit caught fire.
Yeah.
Like it caught fire. And everybody wanted them.
What was the design? You remember what the design was on that shirt?
Yeah. Yeah, I give me a second. I find it in my phone, babe. Find that design for me. I got it. It was just my son. It was my son on the shirt. But see, the whole idea was I wanted to make him look like. Say you go on the Fan Fanatic or Sports Authority. It ain't even no more Sports Authority. But say you go into one of these sports store, Dick's or what have you, and they got the raw behind. Well, they only did it at that time. They only really did it with NASCAR. Because believe it or not, a lot of people don't know the soccer followed me. You know what I mean? I was the first to do it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? To stand people up and sublimate them all over that there. Like, then you start seeing the soccer shirts. They start coming into Walmart and things of that nature. And then, but I wanted to make the kids look like they was already on ESPN. They was already on that level in a shirt. And then the type of shirts that I was doing is sublimation. No one around here was doing that. Nobody nowhere was doing it. I never
saw it until I saw it.
Right. You know what I'm saying? Nobody was doing it. Nobody. And my partner in Baltimore, he was doing it, but he was doing it on a small scale because he didn't have the range of reach that I had. So when he gave it to me, it was like I put it up in lights, and we took off. And believe it or not, nobody really believed in what I had going on because I'm coming to everybody like, hey, I got this thing called sublimation. Want to do this, and the equipment costs $30,000 for this piece, $30,000 for this piece, and you got to have these two pieces to make everything go. So that's $60,000. And you got another, you know what I mean? So it was a lot of money involved in the initial start off. Right. And a lot of people, when I'm coming to people, I'm like, well, I got this. Right. I just need this, and woo. They're like, sublimation, man. Nobody know about no sublimation.
To real quick for the hood family, sublimation is when the ink is when the design is inside the material. That's right. When the ink is dyed directly into the fabric. Like, all right, quick lesson. Quick lesson. Your shirt. You can't iron on that because it's gonna melt.
Quick lesson. I'm finna give y'all a quick game real quick.
Quick game.
Y'all listen now.
They go to gym.
Your shirt, my outfit, everything we have on has been sublimated. Everything is sublimated.
Right.
Sublimated was a new process that they was starting to utilize to do away with the dye process. So say for instance you got on black, I got on black. I dyed it black and it wasn't as deep as dark black as I wanted. I had to dry it or wait for it to dry, all that case, and then re-dye it again in order to get it
right
the color I wanted, right? So somebody came up with a reel-to-reel machine, you know what I'm saying? And it sublimate all the fabric. So say I got 10,000 t-shirts to make versus me, I'm just going to dye the fabric. I'm just going to have the reel rolling through. I got 10,000 yellow, 10,000 green, whatever the case may be. So I just set it at whatever. So and I'm just dyeing the fabric. So I know it's going to take me maybe however many 3,600 yards to make X amount of, you know what I'm saying? So I got the machine set at 3,600 yards and they big rolls.
Right.
A big roll of fabric. And all fabric comes in white. Everything. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
You know what I mean? So everything has to be dyed or sublimated. So what big companies you had like Gildan, Fruit of the Loom, Hanes, whatever the case may be, they was already utilizing this tool, but they wasn't utilizing it in the way I wanted to utilize it.
Right.
You know what I mean? And everybody, all of them tried to stop me. Like, because I went to all of them to print for me because I didn't have my equipment in the beginning.
Right.
You know what I mean? I didn't even know where the hell to buy the equipment from. So it was all a research thing for me because I knew what they was doing. Like, they had to sublimate that blue. And then after they sublimated it, they stitched it. And then they sent it somewhere else to actually print what you have on the front. You know what I mean? And same thing with yours. But it was sublimated first.
So basically, they just making colors.
Correct. That's all they was doing. Right. They were just putting colors into whatever they had to put the color in.
Right.
So when I came to the play, I wanted to put an actual design in the color.
Right.
I'm like, okay, you running off these but in this shirt, I wanted to look like this. And they were like, nah, why? We don't do one-offs. We don't do just one. You got to order 5,000 of them. You got to order 10,000. I'm like, nah, I just need one. Give me one.
Right.
And I'm going to show you something. And I had a debate back and forth about all this. So I had to, me and the guy who I finally, when I initially needed a printer, he was doing in Miami, I made a deal. I said, check this out. Out of the individuals who order 5,000, 500, whatever the case your minimum is, shirts, how often do you see them? Like, how often do they order those shirts? Once a year, twice a year, 3 times a year, 4 times a year. You're like, man, they might come maybe once a year. But what I'm telling you is I'm finna come to see you possibly 5,000 times in 1 year.
Right.
You're like, no way possible. Set me up an account. Do what I'm asking you to do for me. And then I'm going to show you.
Right.
He did it. And now you got everybody doing it.